right. We did it. Welcome to the Social Video Playbook. Hey, Chris.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. It's good to see you. Welcome, everybody that is tuning in with us here, either on Spotify, YouTube, or LinkedIn, depending on what day, time, and place you feel like joining us today. This is our space for the next 15 ish, give or take, minutes. We're going to talk about all things social video. What are the yays? What are the nays? What are some of the wins and some of the things that aren't working all that well? And we sit here and we talk to amazing industry leaders from insights to brand to marketing and comms and creators. And we try and get a really vast industry perspective on the effects of social video. How are they tackling it? What's happening within their field? How has it evolved over time? And what are some of the tips and tricks that they can give away in order for everybody else to be successful in this new era that is just so insanely ramping up? I'm Elizabeth. I'm head of growth at Viral Moment. I'm also the host of the Social Video Playbook. And with me here is Chris Chen. Chris, tell us about yourself.
Hey everyone, I'm Chris. I'm the founder of Pulse Analytics and Insights. Over the past decade, I've helped brands from Warner Brothers to Universal Music Group tap into real-time signals on social media to make smarter content, so there's marketing and platform decisions. Today, I focus on helping companies decode not just what people are watching and saying, but why, and what that means for our creators, culture, and strategy.
Yeah. Welcome, Chris. I'm super excited to dive in with you. You've done some amazing work, and we've historically worked on some stuff together too. So I'm really stoked to hear some of your insights, especially as 2025 has been rolling and there's been so many changes this year alone. The advancements of AI are one of them. And then TikTok may or may not still continually be banned. We shall see at this day and time what that will look like eventually. But let's hop in. We've got 15 minutes. Let's chat about some of the big pictures across social video. So for you, Chris, what's the number one shift in your industry that you've seen that brands just really aren't ready for?
I think that the biggest shift brands are ready for is that the algorithm isn't your audience anymore. It's the culture. For years, brands have optimized video for distribution, the right time, right formats, right keywords. But today, social video, it's really shaped by decentralized communities who remix, react, and repurpose your content in real time. If brands don't deeply understand the cultural context that their videos are entering, so what's resonating, what's cringe, what's overdone, they risk irrelevance. And no matter how good that production value is, listening to has to go beyond the metrics and you need to know what the mood of the moment is.
It's so many things and it's so good. And it's true. I think it's really diving deep into what's actually being said. It's a really good point. So, with this nuance of social video, how is it changing the way that brands and companies make decisions?
Social video is speeding everything up and it's really raising the stakes. It's no longer just a channel, it's a live feedback loop. And that really shapes creative messaging and even product decisions. I've seen entertainment brands change entire campaign narratives based on how trailers and promo clips are performing on social video. What's different now is that virality isn't the bonus. Everybody wants to go viral, but that's not just the goal anymore. It's a signal. And if you're paying attention, social video can tell you what's clicking emotionally and what your audience before and everything that you would find in a focus group, you're going to find immediately on social media. And brands are treated like a testing ground, not just a billboard to promote your product. They're going to make sharper and faster decisions.
Yeah, they will. And we say that all the time. I love that you bring up focus group. Like I'm always harping on that. I'm like, it's basically like the world's biggest focus group and it's free. Like just
Million people,
by
there's a million people in your focus group versus 10, right?
yes. I mean, you didn't have to clamor into an office on a Wednesday under some fluorescent light to try and figure it out. Yeah, that's amazing. But with it being a million people in your focus group, there's a lot of like craziness that comes behind that. So, what's some of the challenges or what's like your biggest challenge across social video right now?
The biggest challenge is separating that noise from the signal. So everything looks like engagement right now. Posts can rack up views, comments, likes. And is that really actually shifting perceptions or behavior? What is the outcome? And so social video is messy by nature. There's edits, there's duets, there's sarcasm, parody, and traditional sentiment. It's really hard to measure all of that. So the real challenge is building context fast enough to interpret what's really landing and what's that backlash. Or if it's just a meme, we're constantly evolving how we analyze tone, irony, and emotional response so that we can guide brands to act and hopefully not overreact.
Yeah. And that's a big challenge. I mean, it's honestly, it's parsing through the noise and then every million people, it can be pretty noisy. You've been in a stadium before. It's loud. Imagine all those people just like shouting at you all the time. So how have you been facing some of these challenges? What's been working or what hasn't worked that you've had to shift away from?
Sure. So with all the talk about AI and the advances that we're seeing through everything AI and learning, we still need to blend human and machine because neither really works alone. On one side, we're using and refining models to detect nuance, so sarcasm, slang, tone of voice. But the real unlock is layering that with a cultural analyst who can decode the why behind the trend. What's working is treating video commentary like a conversation and not just content. So if we're looking at remix behavior, stitch patterns, and even how creators are framing their reactions, that's what's working. But what's not working? Well, assuming volume is the end all be all and that equals impact. Volume is important. I've done enough tests to show that volume does have impact. But you have to ask, is that engagement additive to the brand or just noise?
And that's a good point. If you could, the world's your oyster, Chris. If you could literally have anything in this scenario to like help you solve these problems and like advance all this stuff, what would you do? Money's not an object, team members, whatever you need.
That
Chris's dream world.
dream world. I assume we're talking about social here because I'd respect
Yeah.
to that one. But
Live
no,
an island
I'd
and I want a race car.
sure, yeah, no, I'll race a car around my island. Yes. I build a real-time culturally nuanced intelligence engine that connects social video trends with human intent at scale. So we're not just tracking what's going viral, but why and who it matters to. So we're integrating video analytics across platforms, community behavior, language evolution, sound analysis, and I pair that with a global network of cultural strategists. Like I said, it has to have both. And these people are going to decode the regional nuances. So basically, we're going to make sense of the scroll in real time and then surface the insight behind that trend before it becomes a headline.
Yeah, that would be really powerful. And I think it's coming. I think it's actively being built. Slowly
Well,
but surely. There are pieces of this all over the place. And it's gonna happen. Moving into a little bit away from like kind of the holistic picture and some of the pain points, but when we're measuring and like you're showing stuff to brands, like what's a common mistake that you're noticing that brands are making when it comes to using or interpreting social video that you're like, hold on, like that's not really right.
absolutely. So one really big mistake is confusing views with value. So a clip might
Mhm.
go viral, but if it's misunderstood or tone deaf, it can do more harm than good. So you remember Pepsi? They tried to tap into that protest culture with Kendall Jenner. It looked
Oh yeah.
polished. It was a Super Bowl ad, but completely missed that tone of the moment. And the backlash spread just as fast as the video itself.
Mm.
Now, on the other hand, we have Lizzo, and her team consistently nails social video by leaning into authenticity and fan interaction. So whether it's flute performances, behind the scenes moments, or embracing TikTok trends in her own way, she's driving both engagement and emotional connection. So that difference is knowing the platform language and having the cultural self-awareness to match it.
Yeah, it's true. And I remember like when it's a great point about the Pepsi commercial too, but when candy salads were taking off and then these candy brands were
Oh, yeah.
trying to hop into it. And then all of a sudden it like the whole tone of the candy salad really shifted to like some dark, traumatic moments. And then brand like, wait, hold on, do I want to hop in on this?
Yeah,
Pause out production. I don't know if we want to associate with these people's trauma stories and start they're being vulnerable. So
absolutely.
yeah, that's a really good one. We talked about some mistakes, but what are some of the most important things that brands should actually be measuring if they're missing the mark with some of the stuff that they need to shift out of their current way of thinking?
So this is something that will tie all what I've said together, but it's emotional resonance. So not just in
Mhm.
general, but you need to know if you're resonating with the right communities. Are you sparking the right conversations with book talk, film talk, LGBT talk, or wherever your audience actually lives? It could be anything, right? It's not enough for a video to go viral. It has to land where it actually matters. We are measuring this with emotional tones, but also tracking who's picking it up and who's responding. That's when content becomes meaningful and not just visible.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that phrase. Emotional resonance.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that's so true. And it brings me into maybe this is a little bit of vibe here, but in this field, you're reporting up to leaders too. And what's an underrated insight that you think that they should act on now that they're probably just ignoring or not thinking it's important as you're like, nah, this is the thing we care about.
Yeah, it's if you're looking at the general overall, that's great and all, but subcultures are moving the mainstream. And they're not so these subcultures, they're not just trendsetters, they're taste validators. So if you're paying close attention to micro communities, and I really care about these groups because it's like looking at influencers versus micro influencers, that these communities are saying and how they're saying it, if you're not paying attention, then you're missing early signals. Whether that's humor, K-pop stan culture, fandom discourses on Reddit, these spaces are where new norms are being tested before they even break out. So leaders at companies should be investing in understanding these ecosystems, not just tracking keywords, but decoding tones and references and power dynamics. And that's where the next big creative idea or crisis really starts.
Yeah, it totally does. That's a great insight that leaders should totally be following. Okay, going down this kind of train of thought, what's an assumption about social video that people just get totally wrong? You're like, no.
I recently had a conversation with somebody and they were saying that my long videos aren't working, but my short videos are. And I countered that by saying that if you think that shorter is always better, I think that's wrong. Everyone's keep on saying that attention spans are dead, but who hasn't taken a lunch break and scrolled through their reels or TikToks and then next thing it's midnight? Truth is, people binge hours of creative content when it feels authentic, when it's engaging, it's made for them. The real issue isn't length, it's relevance. So I've seen deep dive breakdowns, fan theories, behind the scenes, things that are really relevant to people or the audience that you're making it for, because it's actually building a relationship. Brands really shouldn't be chasing brevity, even content creators. Brevity is not important. What you need is to start earning interest. If your content has something to say and says it in a way that aligns with your audience, they'll stick around.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think there's so much space for long form video as well as short form video. If you go back to what you were saying earlier, follow Chris's few steps from above. So once you understand your audience, the length of the video doesn't necessarily matter. It's more like the context behind it. If it's resonating with the audience, it can be a 3-second video or a 30-minute video, but the audience will watch it because it's emotional resonance is there and the authenticity comes through.
Absolutely.
Love that. Earlier, we asked, as if I'm multiple people, I asked, it's only me here, if you were to get everything in the world and you could have unlimited resources, but I'm going to limit you this time. If you could get
Okay.
just one thing from this year, so it already exists, it's 2025 right now, what would make social video just easier for your business? One thing.
I think if we can have a unified dashboard that just merges video performance, so you got the metrics with the audience sentiments and community
Mhm.
context and have that in at real time. I think that right now we're stitching insights across multiple platforms, tools, and formats just to answer a real simple question. Is it working? And I want something that doesn't just show metrics. I love metrics. I think it's important, but I need something that flags emotional tone shifts and identifies which subcultures are engaging and predicts when that trend is peaking or fading. I think that type of intelligence will really turn social intelligence in 2025 and 26, make that really easier and make it less of a guessing game and more of a strategy.
Yeah, it would. And it is being built. It's for sure. I think you could actually get that by the end of the year. That's amazing. So we have got one last question for you here, a little bit of a bonus question. Chris, you've worked with some amazing brands and companies. You've seen the evolution of how social has shifted in strategies and insights and data and the way that people are actually going out there as a brand and a company. So what's one lesson that you'd want to share that you've learned from just navigating this space?
I think that how people are reacting is just as important as how many. So early on, to focus on scale. I was talking about this before: views, shares, volumes. But for example, at Warner Brothers, we once had a trailer where the overall sentiment was pretty good. But we dug deeper and we saw fan edits flooding social media, like recutting scenes and highlighting a character that wasn't part of the main marketing narrative. And that creative reframing was a gift. So it helped us pivot messaging and lean into what audiences really actually cared about. And you know what that lesson was? If you only track the loudest metrics, you miss the real conversation.
That is so true. And I love that. Yeah. Dive deeper with Chris. This has been amazing. If anybody wants to follow more about Chris's work, see what he's doing, here is his LinkedIn scrolling across the bottom, and I'll add it into the show notes as well. But he does some amazing stuff. He's always posting incredible content, really helpful. Chris, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.